I'm visiting every single Roman ruin in Britain, and this is Hardknott Roman Fort. And to be frank with you, this is in the middle of nowhere. It's by far the most isolated Roman fort in Britain. So you've got to ask the question, what on earth are 500 Dalmatians doing here at Hardknott? This fort was built in about 130 AD on the orders of the Emperor Hadrian. Now, it's not entirely clear why he decided to build this fort here in the middle of nowhere, but there are probably two main reasons that we can work out. The first reason is a Roman lesson learnt in Scotland. The Romans tried to conquer Scotland a few times. They succeeded very briefly, but then quickly had to abandon the entire place. The thing they realised was conquering hill-dwelling people was very difficult, because if they plonked a fort where they were, they'd just move up into the hills and not pay the Roman soldiers their taxes. But in the winter, when they had to come down from the hills, they would eventually encounter this, a giant Roman fort. That's the first reason. The second reason was to protect the Roman road which went over Hardknott Pass, which is a very, very treacherous route. So this was a bit of a halfway point between that Roman fort and the one in Ambleside. Hardknott Roman Fort was garrisoned by about 500 men who were recruited from the Roman province of Dalmatia, which is modern-day Croatia. Now, I don't know about you, but if you grew up in Croatia and you ended up in the English Lake District, which is the wettest place in England, I wouldn't be too chuffed. But this was a deliberate policy from Rome. They didn't want to recruit locals to defend this area because there might be some local sympathies that are hiding. So they got people who were dispassionate, disinterested in the local area to come here, oppress the locals and force them to pay taxes. Typically, Roman forts are a playing card shape. They're rectangular. This one is almost an exact square though. The theory as to why is that the Romans couldn't be bothered to terraform any more of this really, really hard stone. But the walls here are quite formidable and the central buildings are made of stone. There isn't just empty space in the gaps here. This would have been occupied by wooden post hole structures. Adjacent to this Roman fort was a remarkably flat piece of land. This was terraformed by the Roman army and was used as a parade ground. The army that was stationed in this fort would have been paid there 4 times a year, they would have trained there, and they would have also done ceremonies there. The camp commander would have stood up on that tribune over there, paid out his troops and done the appropriate sacrifices that were required for a camp commander.